Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the A segment of episode 16 of The Loud House, Attention Deficit. We begin this segment with Lincoln working on a model volcano for his science project. He's asking his parents for help, but they keep responding that they need 5 more minutes because one of the Loud sisters needs their help with something. The next day, Lincoln and Clyde are walking down the street, and Lincoln is impressed that Clyde already finished his volcano project, even though it's not due for another week. Clyde explains that thanks to the help of his dad's, he was able to complete the project earlier than expected. And after hearing of Lincoln having trouble finding help for his project, he offers Lincoln the chance to stop by his house after school and his dad's could help Lincoln out, and Lincoln takes him up on that offer. Then cut to after school, Clyde returns home with Lincoln tagging along. And after a quick scene where Lincoln realizes he doesn't have to shout anymore since he's not in his own house because of how quiet it is, the McBride dads greet Lincoln, and they pay attention to him in other ways besides a little help with his volcano. Like, they notice a loose button on his shirt, they notice one of the soles of his shoes is coming off, and they notice his sideburns are uneven. And then later on, we get to see them having dinner together, and Lincoln actually gets to have non-frozen food, and they actually ask about his day, and then even gets to use a massage chair. And by the end of the day, they weren't able to finish the project, but they apparently made some progress on it, and they offer Lincoln to stop by the next day so they can continue with that progress. And as Lincoln returns home, though, Lynn notices something's different with Lincoln and manages to get it out of Lincoln that he had some undivided attention while at the McBride family's house. Lynn actually asks if one of the McBride dads can help her with some baseball practice, and it's mentioned at least one of them. It's not clear if it's Harold or Howard, but one of them apparently did play ball when they were in college, so Lincoln doesn't see the harm in that. We then cut to after the next day, where after Lincoln and Lynn are coming home from the McBride family's house, and then they run into Luna, who catches on that something's different about them and manages to find out about the McBride dads giving them undivided attention, and she wants in on it too. Lincoln begrudgingly agrees, but he stresses they can't let anyone else know or else the undivided attention will become divided. And Luna assures Lincoln that she won't tell anyone. But then we cut to the next day, and it turns out all the Loud sisters are at the McBride family house. Lincoln points this out to Luna, and Luna says she didn't tell anyone, but then she confesses that she might have sung about the undivided attention at the McBride family house while she was in the shower. And true enough, we get a flashback where Luna is singing in the shower about the McBride family, giving her undivided attention, and the rest of the sisters heard about it and they wanted in on it as well. So now, while Lincoln needs help with the volcano project, the rest of the sisters are keeping the McBride dads occupied, so Lincoln isn't able to get any help. When he's about to try and get their attention about this, though, they actually stop him before he has the chance to get too much out of it, but instead they actually thank Lincoln about the figure suggesting the McBride dads to help them, saying how they were able to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And it's at that moment where Lincoln realizes that the sisters aren't intentionally hogging the attention of their parents. It's just that they want attention as well. And again, being that you're in a big family, that's going to be hard to do. So Lincoln actually, to himself, quietly decides he'll let them have the attention of the McBride dads. And he heads home, but not before he takes some leftover dinner. He says that comes with him. And so back at the Loud House, Lincoln is trying to do his volcano project. But then his parents stopped by and they actually showed that, yeah, they actually managed to find ways to help him with this project. And Lincoln is happily surprised that they remembered. The parents assure Lincoln that they always intended to do so. It's just that it was hard to do so with other priorities or other commitments also being involved. At that point, though, they hear a car driving off outside. The Loud sisters enter the house and they admit they broke Clyde's dad's. Apparently, Lisa suggesting a sleepover was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they just sent them home. And then we get a quick scene showing the McBride dads trying to relax after how stressful it was watching over all the sisters and them being upset that they forgot to unfreeze frozen food. But then we're back to the Loud house. The sisters do want their parents' attention, but the parents do say that right now they're trying to help Lincoln with his project, so they have to wait their turn and be patient. The segment ends with the project done and Lincoln giving it a try. And based on how the windows get flooded with the food that Mr. Loud prepared to act as the lava, it looks like it worked probably better than they expected. And that's where we end the segment. Now, I mentioned back with Overnight Success, that was the first time we actually got to meet Harold and Howard McBride, Clyde's dads. This was the segment I spoke of when I said that they'd have a more important role down the line. This is it. And yeah, I thought this was a good way to show us a better understanding of Harold and Howard McBride. And yeah, they're very nice people. They clearly care about their son Clyde, and they definitely cared about Lincoln too. They were willing to help him out with his volcano project, and it was nice of Clyde to offer Lincoln to stop by his house to get that help. So they're definitely a nice family. And it was shown that they definitely tried to be patient with the Loud sisters when they also arrived, and it seemed pretty clear that, yeah, it's not hard to blame them for kind of eventually they just couldn't handle the stress of watching over all 11 of them. And it was shown because, to put simply, they only have one child, only one offspring. So, of course, they're not going to be as experienced with watching over 11 offspring. So, yeah, that was a good lesson that shows everyone has a certain amount they can handle. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's what makes us us, after all. And on the other hand, they did show, it was a nice showing for the Loud parents as well, that they really do intend to help their kids out. It's just, again, understandably so, when you have busy schedules or other commitments or trying to help so many people, it's going to be hard to try and fit in everyone because, yeah, as I think even when it's not about watching kids, like even with other commitments and activities in life, a lot of people will attest that it's very hard to try and fit that all in a schedule. There's a reason why people say there aren't enough hours in the day after all, and I can definitely attest to that with trying to fit in all of the activities I want to try and fit in. That can be very hard to get a schedule together, but at least when you do find time for it, it's a good moment. So that's what I liked. And I also did like, it didn't vilify any of the Loud siblings. Lincoln wasn't vilified, the Loud sisters weren't vilified. They were all sympathetic because it was clear everyone just wanted attention for activities that they wanted done, and that's perfectly understandable. So, and yeah, they weren't portrayed as being malicious about it, but rather just they were all in the same boat. And it was good of Lincoln to realize that, and he was gracious enough to let them have the attention of the McBride dads, though he probably dodged a bullet there after the sisters broke Clyde's dads. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a nice segment. It gave us a little more insight about the McBride family. We got to see a good lesson about how it's hard to juggle so many commitments or helping other people when there's so many to help, and how people can have a full plate sometimes, and and that it's not always easy trying to help everyone out. So, yeah, I liked it a lot. And as to be expected, you'll be hearing about the B segment next. Take care, and until next time.